Letter from nowhere. They say some cases should stay dead, yet they always come back the moment you start believing you can sleep without nightmares. 5 years had passed since I locked my badge in a drawer, but on that November evening someone knocked on my door with no intention of selling life insurance. On my doormat lay an envelope. No stamp, no sender, just my name in neat calligraphic letters. Inside was a single sheet of heavy cream paper. Clocks lie, Leonard. Time always flows the same, but some people can stop it. If you remember the House of Clocks, be there tomorrow at 7:13 p.m. Will you make it? Signed with a single delta, Greek delta. A symbol of change. A symbol of payback. House of Clocks was the nickname of an old villa outside the city, where 3 years ago we found Martina Jushniewicz's body, missing her watch. The killer had left dozens of broken timepieces on the walls, all frozen at 7:13. The case went cold, and the villa was auctioned off. Since then, it stood empty, as if guarding itself. That night, I couldn't call for backup. I had no badge, no partner to wake at midnight. What I did have was an old cig in a drawer, and too many memories to let someone toy with my past. At 6:40 p.m., I walked out. House of Clocks, 7:13 p.m. Crossing the gate, the wind howled so hard it felt like rusty weather vanes wanted to wrench free and point me back home. The villa's windows were dark. Only when I pushed the heavy door did a lone bulb flicker on, illuminating dust and cobwebs. Fresh boot prints marked the floor. Someone had arrived before me. My footsteps and the crunch of shattered glass from busted clock faces were the only sounds. I entered the parlor, where a forensics table once stood, now rested a desk. On it, a second letter and a ticking pocket omega, naturally frozen at 7:13. The second note was brief. Time is running out. You have 1 hour to find us both. Otherwise, you'll hear only the echo of your guilt. Beneath it, GPS coordinates. I punched them into my phone. They pointed to the city's industrial fringe. Abandoned paper mills shuttered a decade ago. I headed for the car. 58 minutes left. Mill number 5. Fog floated over wet asphalt when, at 8:02 p.m., I pulled up to the rusting complex. No lights outside. Inside, a generator drummed like distant thunder. I chambered around, kicked the door, stepped in. The stench of mold, damp paper, and decayed ink hung thick. A path of LED work lamps, evenly spaced, guided me like runway lights for nightmares. After 30 steps, I reached the old machine hall. There she was. A girl, maybe 22. Curly hair, blood on her temple, wrists zip-tied to a steel pipe. Alive. Her shallow breaths proved it. Above her, someone had chalked a giant delta. Beneath it, a digital clock counted down. 0 hours, 27 minutes, and 49 seconds. 48, 47. A camera on a tripod streamed live. I told the girl my name, begged her not to drift off. She couldn't speak. Too weak. While cutting the ties, a voice I knew better than I wanted crackled from a speaker, a voice from the past. "You're late, Leo. Time's merciless," rasped the baritone of my former partner, Victor Rybicki, the man who'd worked the House of Clocks until he vanished. Officially, he quit, burned out. Unofficially, I suspected he froze Martina at 7:13. No proof. Endless doubt. "You always thought you were a step ahead," he went on. "But clocks lie. Want to save the girl? Do what you never could. Admit it's your fault. Say it loud. Martina died because of me." I stared into the camera. "You hit rock bottom, Victor, but hell's deeper. Martina died because of your obsession." I growled. Silence answered. The clock ticked on. 0 hours, 24 minutes, and 1 second. The camera cable snaked toward a shipping container. Inside, a timing relay, a detonator, and a radio transmitter whose signal died a couple hundred meters away. I tethered my phone to a laptop, triangulated the feed, and got one hit. An old rail bridge, 2 kilometers off. Race against time, 0 hours, 19 minutes, and 38 seconds. I'd clipped 2 wires when the timer chirped. A light sensor. My flashlight cast the wrong shadow, and the countdown snapped to 5 minutes. Girl or Victor? Choose. I inhaled. Martina's voice echoed. Leo, don't leave me. Victor banked on that memory. I gambled. Propped a brick under the lamp to keep the sensor seeing light. Severed the detonator line. Prayed he hadn't wired a failsafe. I slung the girl. Paulina, she murmured, over my shoulder. Carried her out. Laid her in the back seat, gave her water. She whispered her name. I promised I'd return. 0 hours, 4 minutes, and 13 seconds on the screen as I sprinted for the bridge. Rail bridge. Showdown. The old viaduct hung over a black river like a bone in the city's throat. In its middle stood Victor, hands in coat pockets. Above him dangled a pocket watch on a chain, and Martina? No, just a mannequin in a turquoise dress, a faithful replica. Fine drizzle fell. You came alone. Knew you would. Victor greeted me with a thin smile. In his left hand, a remote. Right hand, a pistol. The transmitter blinked crimson. Where's your badge? Oh, right. Just your honor left, and it's filthy. I raised empty hands. It's not my honor bleeding here. It's yours, I said. Let's put the ghosts back in the villa. Martina won't return. He laughed, a dry caw. Tonight, you become a ghost. He thumbed the remote. A flash boomed somewhere afar. Paper mill. My heart seized. For a second, I believed Paulina died. Triumph gleamed in Victor's eyes, except the timer in his palm still ticked, and my GPS tracker said the mill still stood. A bluff. Before he sensed failure, I lunged. 2 strides. A shoulder hit. His gun splashed into the river. We grappled on the edge like 2 aging demons. He drew a knife, but age and guilt weighed heavier than steel. He slipped. I caught his collar. Say I'm sorry to Martina, I hissed. He spat instead. When I let go, he fell like a frayed leaf into the icy water. Epilogue. The mill never exploded. I retrieved Paulina, called an ambulance and some old friends at the precinct. I told them where to fish for Victor, though rivers rarely return what they swallow. All that surfaced was a watch frozen at 7:13, found later in my coat pocket. I don't recall picking it up. Paulina lived. She told detectives Victor had stalked her through the university, watched her for weeks. He wanted to craft a new Martina, dragging me into a whirlpool of guilt. But guilt belongs to the one who kills, not to the one who survives. I returned to the House of Clocks. One last time. I shut off the work lamp, clicked the door, dropped the key in the mailbox. Walking away, I glanced at my wristwatch, 7:12 p.m. That moment I knew. Clocks may lie, but truth ticks somewhere under the skin. You just have to listen before the final minute strikes. End.